Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. All right, you guys, first story up. So prayers up for who else but our fellow citizens in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has been hit again, this time by Hurricane Fiona. You guys know that we are in hurricane season. This is the time that the storms continue to batter down on these countries where they absolutely do not need it. Puerto Rico, who was still trying to recover from their last huge storm, now they've been hit once again. Over 1 million people are without power. The water has flooded the areas. It's just all bad. And now they're saying that Hurricane Fiona is headed towards Bermuda. Actually, I believe it's hit Bermuda already, and they expect the same devastation. So far, they've only confirmed 4 people dead. However, I'm wondering if that number is even accurate. You guys know that it takes some time. First of all, the water levels have to go down so that they can actually see exactly what's going on in the cities. And it's just a sad situation. One of my friend's father lives there in Puerto Rico, and she had posted some pictures of what was going on there, and it is just really, really sad to see. You guys remember when they were without power for months and months and months? I remember I posted a video when the power did finally come back on, and I feel like it was almost, it was well over 6 months, and the power came on, and the kids in the school was so happy. It came on like in the middle of the day, and the kids were literally running up and down the running up and down the hallways of the school. It was like an elementary or maybe a middle school, of kids that were just elated that they finally had power. Something so basic as power, it just continues. It continues to be something so out of reach for the people there, or something that we can say is dependable power. Considering they know that the hurricanes hit there so much, I just don't know why. I don't know, maybe it's me being naive, but it seems like more could be done to ensure that when these people are hit like this, that it doesn't remove them from a grid for months and months and months, It's just really, really sad. We've all been inconvenienced with no power. I think we've gone in my house a couple of days, almost 3 days without power, and you almost feel like you're going to lose your mind. I couldn't even imagine weeks and months of no power. So prayers up for my rock stars in the PR, the DR, over Bermuda, over in the Caribbean, because the hurricane, like I said, the season is here. They expect Hurricane Fiona to actually head towards the Gulf of Mexico. And then, on that side, we'll have more issues. But prayers up for just everybody, because these hurricanes, they're natural disasters. I don't know how easy it is for most of the people that live there to get away from it. They may not be able to afford to move. They may not want to leave their home. If their family is there and everybody that they know is there, it would be very hard for people to leave there. So it's just a bad situation. And as we continue to see the devastation and the havoc that's been wreaked on the country over there, we're just hoping that everybody can escape still with their lives, with their families, and can eventually get back to some semblance of normalcy. Okay, prayers up for the rock stars there, family and friends that you guys all have there. Hopefully this is all done soon. All right, you guys, next story up. So it seems that y'all cutting up on Quinta Brunson's internet with the foolery. This time, you guys, Tory Lanez has found himself in some sort of altercation with August Alsina, of all people. So apparently Tory Lanez and August Alsina were both on a bill. There was a gig, there is a tour of some sort. I didn't even get the name of the tour, but apparently it is a mashup of comedians and singers and rappers, musicians, whatever you want to call it, where, you know, they kind of have somebody perform stand up, and then they also have somebody sing or rap, you know, and it's just supposed to be like a good night of well-rounded comedy and music, you guys. Well, apparently August Alsina was on the bill, which is surprising considering that I haven't seen August Alsina doing anything. I mean, I'm assuming he was on the bill. Maybe he wasn't, but I'm gonna assume that he was. Okay, because he was behind, you know, he was backstage in the halls and everything. So I'm going to assume that he was. Also, Tory Lanez was on the same tour. Okay. After, I guess, they performed, August Alsina was walking down the hallway in the backstage area, and he walked by Tory Lanez in his camp. Okay. It was Tory Lanez, basically, and 6 or 7 big ass niggas that's around him. I'm assuming that those are his security. When August Alsina walked by him, Tory Lanez stuck his hand out like my man, and August Alsina gave him the swiftest of the swift curves that you have ever seen, child. I mean, he kind of looked the other way. He kept on walking as if Tory Lanez was nothing more than a fucking fly that just happened to be standing right there when he came by, child. I mean, it was funny. And the person that was actually recording them was sort of like, ooh, okay. And one guy that was standing next to the person that was recording, this person that was recording just so happened to just have their video camera out, you know, not knowing that anything was going to happen. But the fact that he recorded Alsina curving your boy Tory Lanez, he was clearly embarrassed. Okay, Tory Lanez was. One of the guys was like, "Did you get that? Like, did you see that?" And the other guy was like, "I sure did." Okay, now take that incident. Tory Lanez, you know, short man's complex, Napoleon complex. You know, a lot of times they have to go on and let you know who is the man on the big man on campus around here. Okay. So he felt disrespected, apparently. And so he followed Alsina to where he was. And we actually got a little audio of what transpired when Tory Lanez caught up with August Alsina. So apparently August Alsina was upset with him for speaking on the Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina debacle. Tory Lanez, like many other people, like most people on the internet, were commenting and giving their opinions on the relationship. Okay. And I guess August Alsina made note of the people that maybe he would possibly be around one day or the other, you know, who had something to say. So when Tory Lanez came up to him, was like, "Hey, my man, like, you didn't even shake my hand back there." And August was like, "Yeah, I know I didn't, because why would you even comment on anything that's going on in my life?" Okay. I mean, well, everybody was doing it. However, that does not mean that Tory Lanez gets to take this conversation to the next level, but he did. Okay. And the next thing we know, we don't hear this on the video, and we actually don't even see it, but or the audio, I should say, and we actually don't even see it on video, but we do see Tory Lanez coming back a few minutes later. That same person, I guess, was still recording, and he looked real, you know, proud of himself. You know, he's high-fiving motherfuckers, and again, little man, big ass niggas all surrounding him as he walked into a room. Okay, I guess he was quite pleased with himself that he handled August Alsina. Next, we saw that August Alsina posted on social media, I'm assuming Instagram, that he was talking to Tory Lanez, and he was really perplexed as how this nigga just turned himself up so much after he had took a hit on a cocaine-laced blunt, okay, that he just decided to just, you know, square off and blast a nigga right here in the right here, okay? Mouth completely bloody, had some scrapes and scratches on him, But apparently August Alsina said he just hit him. He said it was not a fight. It was a flat out assault. I said, you better listen to that word assault. When you start using the technical terms for it, that means that usually you're going to probably press some charges. And I don't blame August Alsina, because first the fuck all, he don't have to shake your damn hand, Tory Lanez. How stupid, how lame is it for you to go after August Alsina of all people? What has that man done to you? The fact that he ignored you, you felt that, you know, in your little man spirit that you needed to go and do something. That's just ridiculous. Okay. And, you know, August Alsina said that he obviously was not trying to get into a fight with Tory Lanez. He had 6 big ass dudes around him, his security, you know, and he said that they were trying to kind of like box him in. He wasn't really trying to go there. He has compromised health issues, and that his doctor actually advised him that if he was going to go on this tour, probably wasn't the best idea, but if this is something that you really wanted to do, that you need to limit your contact with people because of COVID, because of monkeypox. Okay. So all of these reasons, even though August don't need to give no reason really, but these are the legitimate reasons of why August Alsina didn't want to talk to him. Okay. And it's fine. That is your prerogative. You shouldn't have to be forced to talk to anybody. And the fact that Tory Lanez decided to go and beat him up or fight him or hit him in the mouth or whatever he did, just because he didn't shake his hand. I was like, it had to be more to that story, but it doesn't look like it is, you guys. It's just ridiculous. And then after we saw all of this play out on video, August says, listen, they need to post the actual video of the fight because they actually do have that footage. He said they won't put that shit out because they'll see and we'll see that August didn't do anything to Tory Lanez to even, you know, to even deserve anything like what he got. So, apparently Lanez was on some podcast. Was it Academics? I think it might have been Academics, but I may be wrong. Don't quote me. But the guy calls him and was just like, now what's going on with you, you know, in this fight with August Alsina? And he was like, I don't know what dude talking about. Like, no, I didn't do nothing to him. Like, we didn't even, you know, we weren't even around each other. I mean, flat out denies it. And I was just like, okay. And I mean, he really sounded like he was confused as to why August was blaming him for this. And I was just like, okay, so now we see how Tory Lanez, not now, because a lot of people didn't believe how Tory Lanez, you know, was describing the incident with Meg the Stallion. But I think now this is definite confirmation that this motherfucker will lie at the drop of a hat just so that he can get out of some shit. But we saw the beginning and we saw the ending. And we got somewhere in the middle, we got a motherfucker with his mouth all busted up and bleeding shit. I was just like, August, you ain't had to post that picture. But I guess he wanted everybody. I was like, he looked like he pushed the blood out a little bit out of his mouth. It was all coming. I was just like, gross. What is wrong with Tory Lanez? In the video, you can hear a girl saying, don't do nothing because of his case with Meg the Stallion. But apparently, August Alsina says that he was high. Okay, and like coked up. So, I mean, but it don't matter if he was high, he was sober, whatever. Like, why you hitting on this man? Why are you hitting on August Alsina, who he really ain't did nothing to nobody? Okay. So yeah, just ridiculous, you guys. I don't know what to make of Tory Lanez, but if this doesn't let you know what kind of clown he is, then I know something. They have removed him from the tour because the promoter of the tour said that this is a feel-good tour. This is supposed to be like, you know, R&B and comedy and people having a good time, and they don't need that kind of energy on the tour. If somebody feels threatened, if somebody feels like they need to beat an ass or two, then they don't need to be there. Okay, so he's been removed, and I was just like, you didn't need this kind of bad publicity. Okay, because who is booking Tory Lanez? I mean, I'm sure he still has his fan base, and he definitely is still busy. Well, I don't even know if I would call it busy, but he still was able to get that gig. But now I'm wondering how this is going to fare out for him. Like, is he going to continue? People are going to continue to want to invest in something that he's involved in if he do shit like that. Child, just ridiculous. Just, I don't know what other word to put for it, you know? So anyway, that's all that's going on there. August Alsina definitely lives to see another day. He's fine, you guys. It's just that, you know, his mouth was busted up. And that's probably more so the fact that his lips, you know, you got a lot of blood that goes through here. So whenever you get hit in the mouth, you know, it easily makes things bleed there. So I think that he's okay. But yeah, just nobody should have to go through this. What is wrong with y'all boy? Get him, please. All right, you guys, I don't really have the patience for this bullshit today. I'm just telling y'all dumbasses to stop cooking chicken in NyQuil. Where did this trend come from? Why is it that people think that it's okay to cook chicken in NyQuil? First of all, I can't even eat or drink anything that doesn't look aesthetically pleasing to me, okay? Blue chicken has never been something that I would want to be a part of. So that's the first problem that I would have with it. Secondly is, you guys, this is medication. All right. I don't know what the chemical breakdowns of NyQuil is, but you only drink a little bit of it. All right. Can you imagine how much NyQuil that you have to get into a pan to get up enough juice to cover up a fucking piece of chicken, to cook it in there? And then once you do that, you guys are not no fucking chemists. Y'all ain't no damn scientists. You don't know what happens when the heat hits this. Okay? We had to wait for the fucking FDA to come out and tell us that y'all is tripping and that you should not be cooking your chicken in NyQuil. Just about the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. They said that on TikTok that this has been attempted, or I'm sorry, they said that the hashtag has been used 1.3 million times. This was as of yesterday when I was looking it up. So it's probably been used more. And they realized that this was a sensation that had gone viral and that they needed to get a handle on it, because y'all motherfuckers is out here cooking shit and medication like it's okay. And like, it's not okay. Why do y'all think it's okay? And I was looking at the hands. Y'all, and most of them was this, but a couple of y'all done snuck up in there and did it too. And I was just like, y'all stupid. Just stupid. So the FDA finally has to step in, because otherwise motherfuckers gonna be up in somebody's hospital some damn where, or worse. Okay, so they said that when you cook the NyQuil, it actually makes it more concentrated. Even just cooking it, and the vapors that raise from the cooking of the chicken, even if you didn't eat the chicken, if you inhale the vapors, you could still get too much medication in your system, and you can do quite a bit of damage to your insides. Okay? But why don't we know this anyway? I mean, it's medicine. Y'all gonna have it so fucked up out there that they gonna be putting NyQuil behind the damn, you can't even get half of the medication no more. They gotta put it behind the damn pharmacy booth, because y'all niggas is out here doing all kind of outlandish shit with the shit. I know someone that has Crohn's disease, and they have to get Imodium, and they have to get all of these over-the-counter medication. But you can't get the damn over-the-counter medications like you used to, because people were using Pepcid and using Imodium and using all of these other drugs that were meant to help people with these kind of issues. Now they was using it for something else. They was grounding it up and sniffing it or huffing it or doing whatever they was doing. So now you can't even get over-the-counter shit, and you fixing to fuck it up for the NyQuil users too. I don't know what's wrong with the people. The internet has made folks lose their mind. So I don't want to hear nothing about none of the rock stars out there doing this craziness. I know that you guys are all smart. When I call you some dumb motherfuckers, I'm not talking about the rock stars, because the rock stars have good sense. But I'm going to need you to check on your damn kids. You stupid ass biatches. Child, I can't. Leave the sleepy chicken alone. Thank you. Guys, next story up. It wouldn't be at top of the blogs if I didn't talk about Real Housewives in some kind of way, right? This is actually a pretty mild story. It's actually about Kimora Lee Simmons. I know you guys want me to talk about more in depth about the Beverly Hills thing that's going on in Beverly Hills, and I don't watch the show. I don't know anything about anybody there. I don't know the people's names or anything, so it doesn't feel right for me to talk on a situation, you know, like, of course, I'll talk on the Garcelle being threatened or her kids being threatened on or harassed on internet, because that's like a general story. But as far as the storylines that go on the show, I have absolutely no idea. So y'all quit asking me to talk about Beverly Hills, because I don't know them people. But what I will tell you is that Kimora Lee Simmons, who has been approached, I'm sure, many times to be on Real Housewives franchise, I mean, she would be the perfect housewife. She is even though she's not married anymore currently, but she's been married to 3 very high profile men. And so she definitely was a Real Housewife at some time. And a lot of shit has happened in her life, and depending on whether or not she wants to reveal, I mean, she don't have to reveal it, because we know that her damn husband, the first one, is a damn suspected rapist that has moved out the country so he don't get arrested. We know that her second husband was still keeping up an affair with Miss Booth. Child, where is Miss Booth? We ain't seen Cola Booth in a long time. Remember, she was giving them the blues? Oh my God, boy, it was some times with old Miss Booth, okay? And then we know that the third one was caught up in some scams and some fraud shit at the bank, and now his ass is gone. In order to keep from going to jail, he done stole money from Russell just so that he could... Like, we know all of that. Girl, just get on the show and just, So that's probably some of the things that's keeping her away. She also said that she's not sure if she wants to be a housewife because she's not up for like the fake drama and the fighting and the cattiness and all of that. She wants to focus on her philanthropic endeavors and her giving back to the community, because that's really what she's about. Once you get to a certain point in Hollywood, you have to start giving back. Okay, it helps your resume, it helps your portfolio, you look better. So she's been giving back, and that's what she wants to showcase. But she knows, and I was like, girl, yes, you are right, that won't be what's the focus, and it's gonna be all about mess, especially in Beverly Hills, if y'all say the shit is going on. But she definitely would be a great candidate for it. I'm sure she probably knows a lot of these people in these circles already anyway. But she said that she's just not sure. Remember, she had her own show. Remember, she had her own reality show. It was something about the baby fat, something, talking about her. Does she still have Just Fab? Remember the shoe place that she had? It was talking about that and her baby fat business, and then just her life. But her kids were younger and all of that. Her kids are all, she still has younger kids, but I'm talking about the first 2 that she had with Russell. They were little at the time. But she said that she didn't like doing the show. She did it for 4 years, and she said that it was just cringy. And she didn't like to see herself on TV. She didn't like to hear her voice, and just the whole thing, the experience was not something that was memorable or favorably memorable for her. So she is just like, yeah, she's not really sure. But we'll see. Maybe the fact that Garcelle is on the show and she could have some common ground, we assume, with another black woman. Y'all don't get to telling me that Kimora Lee Simmons ain't black. I know she's mixed, okay? I think she goes as a black woman, so that's what we'll call her. All right. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, you guys that watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills out there, are you guys excited to know that Kimora Lee Simmons might be joining the franchise? Guys, next story up. So this story actually has been floating around for the last few weeks, and each top of the blogs I have forgotten to talk about it, but we got to talk about your boy Mystikal, y'all. It's such a disappointing story, because, well, I actually did talk about this and kind of get you guys prepared, and now I'm just gonna go on and let you know that he was indicted by a grand jury with first-degree rape after he allegedly assaulted a woman in his home back in May-ish time, okay? He was arrested in July for rape, for domestic abuse, and false imprisonment. These are like the same charges that he's been accused of the last couple of times that he was accused of this, because you guys know that this is the third time, and what do they say about the third time? It's a charm, right? Well, it looks like he's facing life in prison because of these charges. He was indicted, like I said, and he remains in jail at in Prairieville, Louisiana. Okay, so apparently this woman who was accusing him of these charges, she was in a long-term relationship with Mystikal. So I'm not sure if they had just been messing around for a long time or if they were girlfriend and boyfriend. They didn't describe her as the girlfriend in the story. But apparently she was over at his home and he accused her of stealing some money of his. She denied stealing the money. He did not believe her. And so he attacked her. He hit her, choked her out, pulled her by her hair, pulled some hair out, okay? Took her phone and her keys to her car and would not let her leave the house, all right? So, of course, she was afraid, not really knowing what this man is going to do. So she tried the little Jedi mind trick on him and tried to help him find the money that was lost, that he said was gone, that was in the house at one time. She said while she was looking through the house, she went into one of his drawers and saw that there was like a crystalline type substance in there. He apparently prayed with her. After he calmed down some, he splashed her with rubbing alcohol because that was supposed to cleanse her of her bad spirits. And then he forced her down onto the bed and had sex with her against her wishes. At some point during the night or the next day, she was able to escape. She went to the hospital and the police were called. Okay, the police went out to the house. I'm assuming they arrested him. They found heroin, they found Xanax, and they found marijuana in the house. And at least from the stuff that she said was going on, it sounded like he might have been high. Like, child, I don't know what's going on with Mystikal, but I mean, I think that we can't continue to turn a blind eye. Like, at first he went to jail, he paid his due to the community, his time. He was in jail for 7 years or something like that. He got out. I think people were willing to just give him the chance to come back, make a comeback, do his music again. And ever since he's gotten out, there's just been small rumblings of him doing shit like this over and over again. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So he's in jail now. And like I said, he faces life in prison. I don't know if I feel like he's going to get out this time, you guys. And if he is guilty of what this woman said that he did to her, then he shouldn't get out. It's over for this kind of carrying on. Like, who does these things unless you are on something and you have some sort of strange obsession with doing the same shit over and over and over again. Now, I will say that if a person is lying on Mystikal, then that would definitely be too bad. And if that person is lying on Mystikal, then something should happen, because it's easy for us to automatically assume that he's doing something like this because he's done, he's been convicted of it in the past. So there is that element to it, but I think the bigger picture of this is just like, where there's smoke, there's fire, and we can't continue to just kind of ignore and think that he might not be out there doing what the people say that he is doing. So, and it's too bad, because very talented, enjoy his music. Remember when Danger first came out, like all of that, and it's just a child going down the drain. I don't know what's going on with your boy Mystikal. Mama named him Michael Lawrence Tyler. I don't know what's going on with Mr. Tyler, but yeah, we not gonna stand for this no more now. If your ass is a predator out there, then you know what, in the jail you shall go. When we know more about this story, you guys, I'll let you know. All right, you guys, next story up. So this is sort of an update slash a little bit of a new story as well. So Sweetie Pies, welcome to Sweetie Pies. We know the show that was on OWN for a number of years, a reality show that was showcasing the family of Robbie, Miss Robbie, who was famously known for being a backup singer to Tina Turner back in the day. She was an Ikette. She apparently had a very successful restaurant in St. Louis. for years before she even came onto the reality show scene. She had a big enough family that seemed interesting enough that OWN ended up giving them a show. The show was very successful for them. I mean, we saw them opening up new businesses and everything on there. We were introduced to her grandson, Charles, her grandson, Andre, her son, Tim, Tim's girlfriend, Janae, Miss Robbie, her family members, like everybody was on that show. And it was quite entertaining until we got to really know some of the personalities on there. And we always had a little bit of a side eye for Tim. Tim always was, I'll take that back. We didn't really have a side eye for Tim, but as their popularity grew, he became a little less likable, okay? Because you could tell that he was comfortable he was cocky in the position that the family had risen to. But he started having problems with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend kept on trying to tell us that something was wrong with him. And, you know, they had a baby together, and they were going back and forth with custody and trying to figure out, I mean, it was a lot going on. I finally eventually kind of fell off from the show. I'm not sure when the show actually ended, but in the mix of all of this going on, Andre, this is real life, Andre was actually killed by Tim, not physically, but he commissioned a team of people to kill Andre, murder for hire, if you will, so that he can collect on a life insurance policy that he never was able to really get off of the ground. Okay. He tried to open 5 policies on this young man. And for whatever reason, you guys can go on to there are 3 YouTubers, especially who followed the Tim Norman case from beginning to end. I know that Chronicle Speaks is one of them, and I know that J Soul Extra is another one. She was actually the first one that I remembered watching when I used to watch the videos on it just to get updated. And there's another gentleman, from what I understand, that, you know, did a very good job of following the story and letting people know what was going on. But we got the full story from them. They finally did go to court. Tim was finally found guilty for killing Andre, and he will be sentenced on December, I think they said December 15th. In the meantime, you guys, we get news yesterday that Sweetie Pie's, I think it's the Upper Crust location, which was supposed to be like their more upscale Sweetie Pie's, because I think the original one was like kind of in the hood. It was in the, you know, it was like your classic soul food place that had really good food, but it was kind of like in a hole in the wallish area, but everybody went there because it was just so bomb. Okay, so they opened Upper Crust. We actually saw them when they opened that on the show. It never seemed to get the popularity as far as the taste of the food as the original one was. People were complaining that the Upper Crust was not as good, and, you know, that it was a little bit more commercialized and all that. They didn't get the same hometown feel that they got from the first place. But that location, I think, is the last location of the businesses. It will be closing as of the end of the day on September 25th, end of the business day on September 25th, because they are making room for the John Cochran VA Medical Center expansion that is happening in that exact same area. Okay, which means that Ms. Robbie is over there not wanting to have to deal with the restaurant. One, is probably not as popular as it had been. If you did get people coming in there, they were probably coming in there more to be nosy and be looky-loos than, you know, trying to enjoy the food. The woman is definitely somewhere in her 70s or 80s, and I'm sure running this business, remember, she was trying to retire and let Tim take over that stuff anyway, but Tim was tripping and he was opening businesses without her knowing it and stealing money and all kind of shit. Remember, she ended up having to sue him because of that. It's so much to this story, you guys, but basically, I think that they decided that they were going to close this because it's just way too much trying to keep it open. Besides, Miss Robbie is over there singing, child. Y'all go on her Instagram, child. She got a song out like, "Isn't my stuff good enough for you?" or something. So Miss Robbie got on her young girl wig with the spiral curls, and you know she's all, "Is my stuff good enough?" I was like, "Not your stuff, Miss Robbie. What stuff you talking about?" Why Miss Robbie out here shooting videos and her son killed a damn grandson, and how she got time to be making videos talking about her stuff, girl? We ain't worried about your stuff right now. Y'all going over there if you don't believe me. Miss Robbie is singing, okay? So she ain't got time to be fucking around with Sweetie Pie's upper crust or Back in the Hood and none of that. And this is what she's doing. I still feel sorry for Miss Robbie, because what a horrible position it must be in, to have your son be convicted of killing your other son's son, and your other son is dead, and now your grandson is dead, and your son is in jail, probably gonna be for the rest of his life. Like, I still, my heart breaks for her, because she clearly has the mother's love for her son, but her son is a monster. Like, her son is a monster. I'll never understand the thinking that goes into doing something like this to you. I mean, to anybody, period, but to your own flesh and blood especially. It is heartbreaking. So, but yeah, that's what's going on. So if you're trying to get over there to Sweetie Pie's upper crust, you got till, what is that, Sunday? You got to the end of the day Sunday. Y'all going over there and put on your Sunday best after church and get you an extra piece of, you know, fried chicken and some peach cobbler, and enjoy it, because when the doors close that day, that's going to be the end of that. And I expect the story to die down, but in December, I will definitely let you guys know what Tim Norman gets sentenced to. Guys, next story up. So it seems that Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears have settled the civil case that the Jane Doe brought upon them for the manipulation and molestation of Jane Doe and John Doe when they were children. So I thought that the mother was the one that was bringing this case about, but it turns out that, if I'm correct, because I've read a few stories, but I think that the daughter, who is now 30 years old or somewhere close to there, I believe that she was the one that actually brought this case, you know, to civil court. Back, and if I need to remind you guys, back some years ago, 2013, Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish thought that it would be funny to put these kids in a Funny or Die skit where they're talking about being aware of pedophiles that might be around your child. Okay, and they ended up acting out these scenes and had the kids do some very inappropriate things. Okay, now, in the video, we don't see any molestation or anything like that, but the children were maintaining that they were manipulated. They were taught how to do these sexual gestures and things, and that they were molested. Okay. We found out about the story. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, absolutely, I don't believe it. Like, I don't think that Tiffany Haddish, coming from her own background, would even put these the children in this type of danger anyway. But lo and behold, a video did surface, and we actually were able to see it for our own eyes. Again, no molestation that we could see, but definitely poor taste, poor decisions. No one could understand why people thought that this would be funny, like all of that. Okay. After the video came out, it was like a thunderstorm on Tiffany Haddish, especially. Now, Aries Spears was already in the doghouse. He was already going through because of the shit that he had said about Lizzo. Okay, so this was like a perfect time, if you were going to be the Jane and the John Doe in the story, for them to bring this lawsuit about. Okay, because everybody was already pissed off at Aries Spears anyway. So we heard that the mom, who was friends with Tiffany Haddish, had been trying to settle with them in the past, wanted $15,000 from them, or they were going to say something. And both Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears must have told that mom to go to hell. Like, we ain't paying you. This is a shakedown. You trying to get some money out of us, and we didn't do anything, because they always maintained that they did not molest anybody, that they did not touch children, and that nothing happened. So the mom, okay, like I said, had been sitting on this, I guess, and then the daughter ended up bringing this case about when everything was going bad for Aries Spears. And then all of the shit hit the fan. Okay, I told you guys that Tiffany Haddish probably was going to lose all of her jobs, like her gigs was about to be null and void. I mean, she's on Kids Say the Darndest Things of all shows, you know, and for you to be on a video putting children the very same age of what you talk to on the show, like in that kind of danger, like I already knew that all of her shit was about to be wiped out. Okay, she came out and said that she wanted to say something, but she had been advised not to, you know, but she felt very devastated that this video had surfaced and all of this. And I was just really trying to understand, like, if you really knew that it looked, the implications in the way that it looked, if you knew how bad that was before we all found out about it, why didn't you guys try to bury this story ahead of time? I couldn't understand. I could not understand. People were saying that, you know, that would make Tiffany Haddish look more guilty if she would have just paid them off. But I was just like, no, that's not really necessarily true. First of all, we wouldn't have heard about it, because if you would have done it the correct way, you would have paid the people off the $15,000 that they wanted. You would have had them sign ironclad contracts, the NDAs, that this story couldn't come out. You would have taken care of all of that, and then you would have sent the family on their way. If it was clear that they just wanted money anyway, then do what you need to do to protect your career, okay? Instead, I guess they was calling this lady's bluff all this time, and the daughter was just like, fuck it, I'm putting this civil case out, okay? So after all of the shit blows up the way that it has, then Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears settles with the kids. Like, I don't understand. Why would you let this story come out if you knew you was gonna pay him off anyway? Like, if you thought that you was innocent and you knew that you was gonna fight this shit to the end, then that's fine. But don't turn around right after the allegations come out and everybody sees the video now, and now you decide to pay him off. First of all, I bet you she paid him way more than $15,000 fucking dollars. Okay? Yes, they did get paid, and now they cannot refile. You know, it was filed in they dropped the case with prejudice, which means that you can't bring it forward any longer. I'm sure they had them sign some paperwork and whatever, and now everybody's got to go on, on their day and on their way. But Tiffany Haddish especially lost a whole lot. Like, she lost a lot. As a matter of fact, she was caught up with by TMZ, a reporter yesterday, and it looks like she was at the airport maybe. And, they're asking her questions, and she's just sort of like smirking at them like, he was like, so you think the video, you think it did some damage? You think? And she was just like, like, what do you think, fool? You sitting up here asking me these questions. I can't really speak on it, because if they told the mother or the daughter and the son that they couldn't speak on it, Tiffany probably can't speak on it much either, and really are just hoping that this shit just goes away. Okay? But she also let that reporter know, who was following her, because you guys know how that they do. You know, she basically let them know, like, I lost all my jobs. I don't have any work. Like, all my gigs, everything is gone. And one of the rock stars was saying in the comments that she was trolling. And I was like, I don't really think she was trolling. Like, I think that she was serious. She lost her jobs because it looks very bad to have a video like that where you put these kids in this kind of situation. You know, you compromised the safety of these children, and the mom thinking that thinking that it was okay for these kids to be with this child. I was just like, yeah, no, it didn't feel like trolling to me. Did she seem like she was trolling to you guys? Because the rock star said that she was smiling. I said, no, girl, that was a smirk. That was like a motherfucker. If you don't get out my face asking me these stupid ass questions, you know good and damn well that this did not help me or my career in any kind of way. Okay, but wait, let me tell you guys what the victim said. My family and I have known Tiffany Haddish for many years, and we know now that she would never harm me or my brother or help anyone else do anything that could harm us. We wish Tiffany the best and are glad that we can put all of this behind us. Okay, they know now that Tiffany would never put them in danger and that she would never harm them or allow anybody else to do that. So, I mean, it's clear that these people wanted money. I'm wondering if they even believed that there was molestation that happened, or if they knew that that would make the story sound even worse. We'll never know if it really did or did not happen, because everything is sealed now. We can't even get into the files of the case or anything. And like I said, Tiffany, I believe, is hoping that she can just kind of move on with her life and try to get her career back on track. As far as Aries Spears is concerned, his career was already so off the track to begin with. I don't know what amount of getting back on track it will take for him, unless he plays it up as the rebel, as the bad guy. People love to cheer on the bad guy as well. So, I mean, he might be able to find his spot there. But he looks miserable. He looks very unhappy. He looked unhappy before all of this stuff happened. And truth be told, Tiffany Haddish has looked like she's been going through some things for the last year. You know, we kind of was blaming it on Common and he still might have something to do with it, but I believe also, that maybe she was stressed from all of this other stuff that was happening in the background that we weren't aware of. So yeah, you guys, just the story is perplexing, it's confusing to me, and it seems like this all could have been avoided as far as the severe hit on their careers and their lives, their livelihood, if we would have just taken that mother seriously back when she only wanted $15,000, paid her off, and went on about your business. People say that that's a terrible thing to do and it shows your guilt, but I don't know if it's always a terrible thing to do. I don't know if it always shows your guilt, but sometimes you've got to look at the story and the very bigger picture that could come about this. Do you know how many actors and actresses out there, entertainers, I should say, who have done some bad shit, some horrible, heinous shit, and was able to get ahead of it and bury it before it even made the news? Now, that don't make things better, but it happens. It's what people do out there. Tiffany Haddish, I just wonder why it wasn't done there. I don't know who advised her. I don't understand. But anyway, you guys, moving on. Talked about that story long enough. Let's move on to the next. Before we go, though, how do you guys feel about it? Does this change your views on Tiffany Haddish? Whatever view you might have had of Aries Spears, does this make you guys look at them differently? Do you believe that they molested those children? Y'all let me know.